Ah, my car! 2004 exploding Adrenalin. Here's the scenario. This is some amazing story time. He's putting down the road and he's taking a right, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, wham! Illegal Mexican alien lady smashes right into him. She has an insurance card for 2018. He's got identification issues with the driver's license. She probably has identification issues with the driver's license. They don't want to call their insurance, and they don't want to call the cops, so I'm dealing with it. Let's see what's going on with this thing. Woe is the YouTube drama. I'm going to get this up in the air just a little bit. I want to take the tire off before I get it all the way up in the air, because if there's anything broke in there, I don't want it pulling on brake lines and whatever else. There, that's a little floppy. Ooh! Ooh, fancy! Ooh! Totally busted the steering knuckle. Pull out the CV joint. I'm going to have to put a half shaft in here and steering knuckle. And these ball joints are loose. Imagine that. I did ball joints on this a period of time ago. But yeah, both the upper and lowers, they're moving. So I'm going to have to do ball joints to this thing. The pads are down to 2 millimeters on the inboard. I'll do a pad slap to this thing too, since I'm in here. So, oh, Jesus, look at that. Wow, the sway bar link's bent and blown out. I guess I'll do one of those too. Oh, gee, fun. Gonna get this caliper off first. These are like a 9/16, 14 millimeters. I hung it there with a bungee cord. These should be 15 millimeter. That didn't hurt. I got an 1.25 inch socket for this axle nut. I don't know, it's something in metric. Oh, that's so fancy. Man, wow. These 3 bolts are 15 millimeters. I can get in here with a swivel socket to take these out. Yeah, I replaced this wheel bearing some length of time ago too, so it's probably going to be just fine. So I'll be saving this wheel bearing. It's kind of hard to bend a hub, so I'm guessing it's going to be okay. If it's not, I'll replace it later. Oops. Don't let it hang on the wire like I just did. It could be bad. I don't want to take off the ABS wire because I'm lazy. I'll hang this over here like so. I don't think this tie rod is bad. It feels tight, amazingly enough. If I get this all put together and shake it down and feel anything loose, then I'll just place it after. These castle nuts are whatever size they want to be. Today it's a 21. BFH time. Ha, one good whack. Nice. Lower ball joint action. 24 millimeter here. More BFH action. That didn't hurt. I'm going to gently pry on this half shaft in between the axle, and it should pop right out. These lower ball joints come out pretty easy. There's a clip here you got to take off. These ball joints come out nice and easy. What I like to do, I don't press them out, I just use a hammer. I get down so far just to get them to move, and I'll put like another hammer right here and hit on it. There, it's out. These upper control arms are pretty straightforward. You can take this out, this rubber mat, or you can push it out of the way. I'm going to take it off just because it's easy enough to do for me. This thing's going to need an alignment anytime you do an upper control arm. But just to get it close, I'm going to mark this to make sure I put it back in the same spot as the old bent up piece of junk. You want to mark both sides too, because it can turn this way and this way. These are 21 millimeter, these nuts. There's a good amount of stuff in the way to get these bolts out sometimes. Like right here, there's some lines here that always get in my way usually. Yeah, they're in my way. This one I can get out pretty easy. I'm just going to do what I can to get these air conditioning lines out of my way. Pull this little bracket. Just bend these out of the way a little bit. There it is. Sway bar linky time. That thing looks rusted in like nobody's business. Oh my god, that looks like a lot of work. I don't want to work that hard. Rusty, bent. This is supposed to slide out to get the thing out. That's not going to happen. Put a little pipe wrench action on here. It might help me some, I hope. Oh yeah, that's good and rusted stuck. I'll use some MAP gas on it. Lovely. That blue neoprene, that smells pretty good when it's burning. I'm melting. What the crazy crap? Okay, it's glowing red. It should come out. Yay, junk! And my pipe wrench is stuck. Oh crap. My little baby pipe wrench. I'm gonna grind off the bottom. Ow, hot. Ah, crap. Ah. I don't like it. What do I do? Time to call around some junkyards, find a steering knuckle. Well, there's all the crap I'll be replacing. I got the new knuckle here. I'm going to take this hub bearing off because I will not be using it. This has actually got a nice rusted hole on it. Oh, that flimsy frickin' rusted piece of crusty. I'm unhappy. I'll try to salvage the other backing plate because that one's crusty. That's not even an 8mm anymore. It's too rusted out. There, I pounded on a 7. And it worked. A lot of corrosion in here. I'm going to clean that out. Hookers and beer mentality. Good enough. Now it's quite important that these ball joints go in square. Make sure it's all the way up in there. When I get it all the way up, I like to give this a good whack with a hammer a couple of times, just to make sure it's squared up in there. With this shim, I think it's going to fall in the same spot. This thing's got to sit right about there when I tighten it up. Sometimes people tighten these up when the suspension's all the way loaded. You tighten these nuts up. But usually when they're right about here, that's good. I'm just going to guess. You want it all the way down, it might twist some bushings up too much. Yeah, some of these upper control arms you can adjust, but it looks like this has a washer on it that won't let it go in and out. So bolting it back up the same way it came off. I'll put this CV in next. I put a little transmission fluid on here. You can use gear oil or whatever. Just a little lube for the seal. Pop that in. Knuckle next. Put this lower ball joint nut on. I'm going to want to tighten these in a circle just a little at a time. Now sometimes it's easiest to put a jack under the lower control arm and jack it up into the thing. Am I going to do that? I don't think so. Got a rusty hole. Pinchy. These are always good to torque at about 160. I use a 140 pound torque stick. Let's go a little more. Good enough. Of course, I lube these slides, make sure they work really good, make sure these pads move really nice, they're not all sticky. It's nice stuff. Now I'm going to pull in Mr. Caliper with a couple of C vice grips. I leave one just a little bit taut. You don't want to tighten one up at a time because the other one will pop out on you and then you'll have to buy a caliper or fix it if you know how. Get some brake lubey jizz on the contact surfaces. Make sure the hose isn't all twisted up funny. It moves real nice. That's beautiful. Like new. These sway bar links can be entertaining to do sometimes. You got to do bushing washer. Stick that in here. Bushing, washer, big old sleeve. Washer, bushing, and then this sucks. See, I can't get the thing in there. So I hate it. There's a couple ways you can go about this. Either you can leave the lower control arm unloaded and then load up the other control arm, because if this is bolted in, it'll move this up when you jack up the other lower control arm. It'll make it easier to get in. I actually unbolted the other side, so I should be able to just lift this up. I'll actually leave this loose. I'll tighten it down all the way when I get the other side in, because then I still got a little play in here. Well, that's it. I just got to put a tire on it and shake it down and make darn sure there's no other loose front end parts. I don't think there's going to be. Now, in case you're wondering how to do a shakedown on this wonderful Ford product, what you do is get a jack or a jack stand and put it under the lower control arm and get it out as far as you can towards the lower ball joint. And then put all the weight of the truck on it. Like that. And what you do is if you shake it side to side like this, and you feel any play at all, that'll be in your outer and inner tie rod. I don't feel anything. And then if you shake it like this, if it's loose at all, going this way, it'll be a wheel bearing. And then if you push in and out on the top, and you feel that it's loose, that'll be your upper ball joint. And your lower ball joint, you want to lift up on the tire. And you can have a little bit of deflection, a little bit of up and down movement. They say it's fine. Most technicians will want to replace it though, because they want to make a lot of money. But like just a little bit of deflection is fine. This one's perfect because it's brand new. But the big point is making sure it doesn't go in and out. It shouldn't really go up and down either, but once they get a little used, they do move like probably about 20 thousandths of an inch. And that's fine, but this front end's like brand new on this side, so it's all good and tight. And I did everything right, I think. I'm going to tell the guy to get in alignment, and it'll be good to go. Okay, bye.